Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Glenn.
Good, glad to have you here. So, Don Barrett, ever since I've been in this church, you've been in this church, filling your spot, usually back on the back part of that section.
That's right.
But, you know, a lot of us don't know who Don Barrett is. Why don't you tell us a little something about yourself?
All right. Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate the offer today. I grew up in Ohio. As you know, I'm a proud Buckeye. Anybody who knows me, it takes a few minutes to know that. Go Bucks.
There's a college over there.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yes, there is. Grew up in Ohio from a family with older parents. Was in the church a lot when I was younger. As I grew up, my dad got sick, and we really drifted away from the church. But I was just very fortunate in my life there was a small United Methodist church in the town. I was fortunate enough to have some of my friends invite me to this thing on Sunday night called Youth Fellowship, and got involved in that, and it was just incredibly uplifting to my life and helped me find my place with Christ. Then also had some other friends invite me to play in a Christian rock band, and so we made a couple albums and did a whole bunch of things until through high school and college, and a few years until I got transferred over here.
Right.
After I moved over here, I got transferred over here, and one of the first people I met was my wife, Marita, who was in the first service. And Marita and I have two wonderful children now in their mid-20s, Jenna and Jean.
Yeah, great. Well, we're glad you're part of the family. So when you say you were young and people had invited you to come to a youth group, and that was, I don't remember the words you said, but powerful or life-changing, it affected you in a very important way. What happened in that group that was so helpful in your life?
Yeah. You know, again, it was a small church, so it was all volunteer-led, so there was no youth pastor or anything on staff. But we had some very dedicated people that just helped, and we did things on Sunday night, and I think they helped make Christ real, and not just somebody in a book or something that you're supposed to know about. They helped make it real. And then playing with the band I played with, I tell you, I played in hundreds of churches, everything from the little cracker box churches to the big churches, and we played at the state fair and all those things. And what was interesting about that too is you could walk into some churches and you'd feel love of God right away, and other churches cold as ice. And some of those people were just so genuine and so wonderful that really made an effect on my life growing up.
Yeah, and really you've continued that here because you have been part of the leadership team, what we call the Youth Council, for many, many years. Tell us about why you have that continued passion, because many people will do it for a little while and they kind of burn out, but you've never really burned out on that. So tell us about that.
No, I was asked early on when I just had a couple young kids, asked to do they were going away on a rafting trip with the youth, and I was very young, and my kids were real small, and I went along. Probably not the best idea when we had every kid in the water and all the volunteers, but we'll get through that. But when I got involved, I realized that it was a way for me to kind of pay back and pay forward, as the phrase is, and it's honestly given me more satisfaction and than I've ever feel like I've given anyone. Sometimes it's amazing how sometimes a kid just needs a smile or a touch on the shoulder, because kids deal with a ton of just incredibly tough things, most of which you'll never know about, and it just really helps if you can reach out to them, and I just felt like that's my calling and my small little opportunity to help.
Yeah, just really like a ministry of presence almost as much as anything else, right? Not teaching exactly.
No, I mean, when I first got involved, obviously I had little kids. I didn't know what I was doing. I just showed up and kind of did stuff that they needed. And that's what we do encourage. If you'd like to work with youth, you don't have to be a leader. We need people to make dinner on Sunday nights. We need people to help John put programming together during the week. There's lots of things you can do, but I will tell you the satisfaction for me personally, and I think you'll find, a lot of you will find, it's just been tremendous.
Yeah. Well, the church has been a really great influence in your life, which is
It has.
Yeah, which is an awesome thing. Now, one of the other things that you do here is you chair our Staff Parish Relations Committee. That's a big, long word in the United Methodist Church, which is essentially the HR committee for the church. So any supervision of the staff people and all of that, that's been probably not as much fun as the youth ministry. No,
No.
I didn't think so.
Not really.
But we very much appreciate that because it's an incredibly necessary thing that we need leadership on. So we thank you for that. And in that capacity, you want to take just a minute today and say a word.
Right, and as I said in the first service, Glenn has this interesting way to say, hey, Glenn, I'd like to have a couple minutes. And Glenn, the next thing you know, I'm doing the iWitness, right? So Glenn's wonderful about that. But as my position as chair, I wanted to come up here and just say a few words. Because if you didn't know, October is Pastor Appreciation Month. It's the month that you should reach out and say thank you to all the wonderful people that we have that help us on a really literally a daily basis. So we have some wonderful pastors and we have some wonderful staff, but from a pastoral standpoint, we have some wonderful pastors. I'm standing next to one, and Glenn, of course. We have Perry, who's back here. Thank you, Perry. Linda Johnson, who's now in Florida, take advantage of that opportunity. We have Jim Gentry, who is our resident sage, I believe we refer to him. We have Aaron Weaver, who's now on staff that works with the SAM group in particular, so that's a wonderful blessing that we were able to come up with as well. And then, while he's not on staff, technically, Scott Tyring is very involved with our church as a pastoral influence for us, so I know a lot of us really appreciate everything he does. And we see our Pastor Emeritus sitting over there, so to speak, and Carver, so we certainly wouldn't want to recognize pastors without also thanking you for all your years of service too. So we just wanted to say that we have a little token of our appreciation, a gift certificate to Rosie's, which is near and dear to Glenn's heart as well.
I love that.
So we have a little appreciation that we're going to give them. But please take a moment if you see any of our pastoral staff to just say thank you for what they do and the time they give up and such. So we really appreciate that and just wanted to say thanks.
Well, thank you for coming up. We appreciate your witness. And friends, Don Barrett. Thank you.